Hello everyone. My name's Stephen Bedard. I'm one of the CFES fellows here. I work over at Beekmantown. I'm here to introduce you to Jenna Earl, who is working over at SUNY Adirondack, and I'm going to pass it right off to her pretty quickly.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Jenna. I am a college access advisor at SUNY Adirondack. Basically, that means I work in admissions, but here at SUNY Adirondack, we try to take a more holistic approach to admission. So we also do academic advising and kind of help through the whole process from applying to the school on to after being accepted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen because I do have some stuff here. Okay, this. One second. All right. Okay, can everybody see this? Okay, hopefully okay. So SUNY Adirondack is a two-year community college within the State University of New York system. We are located in Lake George, New York. So our actual address is in Queensbury. We're about 5 minutes from Lake George. Most people know where Lake George is more so than Queensbury. We are a small institution, so our student body consists of about 3,400 students, and we are one of the more affordable options in the New York State system in terms of our tuition, housing, meal plan costs, so on and so forth. So a lot of our students, actually 60%, do attend tuition free. So for New York State residents, that includes scholarships from our financial aid office with their FAFSA, so federal and state aid, as well as just the Excelsior Scholarship in general. But with no aid considered, our tuition rate is about $2,500 a semester. If you tack fees onto that, it's about $3,000. For housing, it's about $4,300 per semester, and a little bit deeper into the presentation, we'll go over what our housing looks like a little bit. And meal plans are required for housing students, and those cost about $2,000. SUNY Adirondack has 4 different campuses. So we have our main campus that's in Queensbury. We also have our Saratoga campus, which in the short future will be going towards a branch campus where students will be able to achieve full degree programs strictly at our Saratoga building, which is nice. For our culinary majors, we also have a culinary center, which is a full student-run restaurant, full functioning restaurant. So students really get that full experience of the restaurant industry, where the students are not only the chefs, but they're the waiters, the waitresses, the bussers, the hostesses, the bartenders, that kind of thing. So you're really getting that full wraparound restaurant industry experience at our culinary center. And we have remote learning. And so students can get degrees fully online, or they have the option for, although I'm sure most people are kind of over the Zoom, we have both fully online courses. We also have that Zoom remote learning option as well. We have some student support service grants on campus. So we do have the Education Opportunity Program, and we also have TRIO Student Support Services. These are both need-based programs. The difference is being that EOP is a state-funded program, so that is for New York State. TRIO is a federally funded program, but they do kind of the same things, and students can belong to both and not just one or the other, which is nice. So students really get that full support. With EOP, it is financial based, and with TRIO, there's a few different ways that students can qualify for that based on income eligibility. If a student is a first generation college student, or if a student identifies as having a physical or developmental disability. And some of the benefits of belonging to either TRIO or EOP are textbook and technology lending. EOP provides stipends to their students, tutoring, mentoring, and dedicated advisors from the very start all the way through graduation, which is nice. So you kind of have one point person that you can go to and kind of advise and ask those tough questions and kind of serve as a liaison and also a mentor to you throughout your college experience. So academic degree programs, we have more than 30 degree and certificate programs. As a community college, we do have a lot of transfer ready programs. What that means is that these programs are to start a student off on their educational journey and allow them to take any prerequisite or general education requirement courses to then transfer out to the four-year school of their choice so that they can complete a four-year degree or a bachelor's program. So we have Associates of Arts credits as well as Associate in Science. We also have some 1+1 programs, meaning that if you're interested in only attaining a specific associate's degree, you complete a year at SUNY Adirondack and then a year at another associate level college, and then you can obtain your degree that way. We also have a branch campus through SUNY Plattsburgh right on our campus. So as an alum of SUNY Adirondack and the branch campus of SUNY Plattsburgh, I was able to obtain my bachelor's degree without ever having to leave SUNY Adirondack, which is pretty nice. And then for those who are looking to kind of get their 2 years maybe out of the way and jump right into the workforce, we do have a slew of career ready programs. And these are programs where not only in our industry, but in the area, there are going to be jobs available for students with this degree right coming out of the program. So that's nice. We also have career coach. So, and this is available to students, community members alike. So anybody could actually go on the SUNY Adirondack website and use career coach to take career assessments, browse careers, browse programs, build resumes. What's really nice about this is if a student doesn't necessarily know what they want to do going into college, or maybe even in high school where they're trying to figure that out, they can go on career coach, take assessments, but also figure out what degrees are needed for the jobs that you might be interested in, what those jobs pay. All of that information is available through this site, which is really helpful. We also are NJCAA Division III college. So we do have sports teams on campus. We have our men's sports are baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, and lacrosse is coming very soon. And our women's sports are basketball, golf, soccer, softball, and volleyball. We are in the process right now of building a $6 million AstroTurf multi-use field with lights, which is a huge project underway. A lot of our sports team have not been able to actually participate in sports on our campus. They've had to go elsewhere. So it's very nice for us to be able to finally bring them home to us and be able to kind of share that with students. And life on campus. So like I mentioned, we do have a residence hall on campus, and we really pride ourselves on being able to give that four-year feel at the community college level for, cost effectiveness. So all of our dorms are going to be suite style. And what that means is that you're going to be sharing a room with one other person, and that's going to be a suite. You get your own bathroom, you get your own sink. There's going to be another suite that kind of mirrors you on the opposite side. And in between the two is going to be a living room and a kitchenette area. So you kind of have that common room. Things like furniture are already going to be included in there. We also have a 2-story fitness center right in our residence hall as well. So I think we'll see the outside of campus a little bit. This is going to be our residence hall building during our virtual tour going on later in the presentation. So another good thing about SUNY Adirondack and most community colleges is that the application is free to complete online. So for students who are kind of looking to apply to schools and kind of save some funds and not really sure where you want to go, want to apply to a bunch of places, would look into your local community college because they typically will have free applications, and that might be a good way to save some money. But also SUNY is running a And they do this every year, free application week. So whenever that time comes, definitely pay attention to those dates as well, so you can kind of get those out. So yeah, now let me see if I can get out of here. I'm not sure if I was able to get sound on here. Okay. Now you'll have to let me know if you can hear this, because
Hello, everyone. My name is John Dellett. I'm the Vice President of Enrollment and Student
can we hear
Affairs
this?
at SUNY Adirondack. It's a wonderful campus, and it's great that you're interested in this virtual tour. Our college has a small feel to it in that everyone is part of the community. There's a great sense of inclusiveness that I have felt in only the few short months that I have been here. It is a place where athletes and artists, first-generation students, children of doctors and lawyers, working adults, retirees pursuing second careers, and everyone in between feels welcome and supported. Our students choose SUNY Adirondack for different reasons, but here we all experience the same thing, and that is a high quality of education led by incredible professors who are passionate about their students and their studies. We have a staff dedicated to providing the tools that students need to succeed. And we have a vibrant campus community that will welcome everyone and makes us feel part of this beautiful Adirondack community. Above all, we are a community college that cares about you and wants to be part of your future and your success. I hope that after taking a virtual tour, you will come visit the campus in person and see all the ways that we can contribute to your great future. Thank you.
Thanks, John. All right. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, and then I also have the virtual tours right here. Can we hear this too?
Adirondack is where it all begins. You find yourself here. You discover new things about the world and yourself. We have everything you need to challenge yourself, to push yourself. You've likely heard that tuition rates here are among the lowest in the SUNY system. But what's more important is that we have all the resources of large universities on a campus that's small enough for you to create your own path. What happens here, the relationships you build, the skills you master, the you that you become, you can take anywhere. So when you're here, you can be anything. A friend, a leader, a mentor, an intern, a scientist, a mathematician, a team player, a coach, a tutor, a programmer, a farmer, a teacher, a detective, a writer, a chef, a climber, a ski instructor, a risk taker, an innovator, an artist, a nurse, a photographer. If you can dream it, you can become it at SUNY Adirondack. Great futures start here.
If you're a college student, keep watching. One of my least favorite.
So I have one more thing to show you guys, and then we can, I think, open it up to questions if there's like a Q&A box. And that's going to be the FAFSA completion guide. This is specific to SUNY Adirondack, but I think this will be helpful for any school that you apply to. So if you haven't heard of FAFSA, it is the free application for federal student aid. And this is going to be helpful for any student who's applying to any school. With FAFSA, there are going to be important deadlines for students to remember. So that's going to be not only the FAFSA deadline, the college deadline, and the state deadline. Okay, so depending on what state you live in, depending on what college you're planning to attend, and obviously the FAFSA deadlines itself. So FAFSAs do open October 1st of the year before the application year. So for example, this is the FAFSA guide for 23-24. So the FAFSA did open October 1st of this month. Okay. Let's see. I think this I can go to the next page. Great. So how you set up your FAFSA is going to be pretty simple. You can go on, create a free account, and then you're going to create an FSA ID. Now that's going to be just information that you know that you'll remember. A tip for students would be to use their personal email addresses that they check often and maybe aren't getting flooded with spam or things like that. Not school ones, because typically when you graduate high school, those emails will disappear and you'll be unable to use them anymore. So if you use your use a school email for your FAFSA, you might have some trouble. And sometimes when you need to create a new account, there's a verification process and it can kind of delay getting everything that you need into the system on time. Okay. So things that you'll need to know are going to be your email addresses and phone numbers, both for you as well as for your dependent parent / step parent, because their information is going to be going into the system as well. Typically for students that are under 24, and we'll go over that in the next slide, but it's important to have their information as well because they will need to electronically sign this document. Okay. So like I mentioned, most students who are under 24 are going to be considered dependent, but you may find yourself kind of aligning with any of these scenarios, which would classify you as an independent student. But what dependent means is that you're going to need to include both your parents and potentially your step parents' income on your FAFSA. And the income that's included on this is going to be your prior year taxes. So for example, for the 2023-24 academic year, it's going to be your 2021 taxes. Okay. So, and this gives you a little bit more information, and I can send this document out after too, because it might just be a helpful guide to follow. But the intent of FAFSA is to figure out your EFC, or going to be your estimated family contribution. And that's basically entire household income and what they can contribute to your college spending. Okay. So with that, you need to include tax information. Now with the FAFSA, they've made it super easy to get that information into our system by linking it directly to the IRS, which is nice. So there's actually a button that you click when you complete the FAFSA that allows you from the IRS to transfer your taxes right in to that system. So you don't have to type in every number line by line. Okay. Let's see, there should be another. There we go. I don't know why this isn't showing up. Can we still see this okay? The helpful hints.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So for some reason it's not working when I go full screen, so we'll just try it like this. But some helpful things to know when you are completing your FAFSA is that it might ask things like assets, that you might not know what that means. So this kind of fills in those blanks, right? Because I can tell you from personal experience as a 16-year-old completing this document, I was like, I don't know what any of these terms are. So this just kind of outlines those. So it's not assets don't include your house. It's more so any money in cash, savings, checking accounts, investments, as well as any businesses that your families might own. Okay. Data security. So with that, with the FAFSA, they want to make sure that your information is protected. So you're only able to set up one account per email address. So that's why you have to go through a verification process if you want to change your email address and things like that, just to verify that no one else is getting into your system. No one has information to your social security number, tax information, and things like that. So it's important to kind of use the correct email and mobile phone numbers for this document. Okay. Another thing for first year college students. So even if you are somebody who has maybe AP credits or plans to take AP credits or has duly enrolled at a college in the high school level as a non-matriculated college student, you will still be considered a first year college student. So that will be helpful when you're completing your FAFSA. Another important thing to note is that when the FAFSA asks kind of what degree or certificate will you be working on when you begin the academic year, does not necessarily mean your major, it just means what level of study. So whether you are going for an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, that kind of program, that's what you want to indicate there. Okay. And let's see, verification. So this is a random thing. Students sometimes are selected for verification, and it's randomized, and basically what it means is that the government just wants to verify that the information that you've put within the FAFSA is accurate. It does not mean that you have put in anything wrong in the system or you've done anything wrong, okay? This is just kind of a random luck of the draw situation. So if you are somebody who in the future is selected for verification, financial aid office, wherever you go to school, are going to give you exact steps to follow in order for you to complete that verification process so that you can receive as much aid as possible. Okay. I think that's the last thing for financial aid. Some important things to know are going to be priority dates, right? So if you complete your FAFSA through October, for example, for SUNY Adirondack, if you complete by March, between October 1st and March 1st, what happens is that you are considered a priority student, means you're eligible for more scholarships, you receive more aid and things like that based on when you complete these. So don't be a student who kind of waits for maybe the last minute to complete these, although the deadlines typically are going to be June 30th of the last year. So even though for the academic year of 2023 to 2024, the deadline to complete may be June 30th of 2024, it's definitely helpful to get it in as soon as possible. Okay. So I think that's everything I got here. So I can kind of end my share. I can figure out how to do that. Oh, let's see, stop share. Okay. And then any questions would be great.
So Stephanie asked in the chat, what is the process or how do you assign roommates for university housing?
That's a great question. So, and it's going to be different for every institution, but for SUNY Adirondack, we have a form that students fill out when they complete the application that asks some maybe seemingly silly questions, but questions that end up being super useful. So things like, what kind of movies do you like? What kind of music do you listen to? Are you a morning person? Are you a night person? Are you clean? Are you messy? And we encourage students to answer these questions honestly so that they're put with somebody who is more like them. So if we have a morning person, we're probably not going to put them in with a night owl just because they might not mesh. But of course, at any universities, it's true that you can request roommates. So we do have a lot of students, especially because we have smaller housing where we only house about 400 students, where students come together and then they request to be roommates with an individual at the start. And then every semester when they kind of continue on throughout the program, they can request either to keep their roommate or to get a new one, things like that. Another thing about housing, which is helpful to note for SUNY Adirondack, for example, we have different levels of floors, which is cool. So we have like a freshman experience floor, we have an athlete floor, a Zen floor, a health and wellness floor. So depending on your interests, depending on kind of what your mood and your vibe is and how your personality is, you can have a choice of which floor you're put on, which we found that a lot of students enjoy and like, and it kind of helps them to kind of build a better relationship, not only with their roommates or their suite mates, but everybody on that floor, right? So, yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
If anyone else has a question in the chat, I'll read that. But if not, I can toss out my own question.
Yeah, of course.
So this is usually a simple one, but I think it's a really important one to continue to ask each school. What are your top programs?
So our top programs change, especially on the community college level. Curriculum changes often. Some programs disappear, some programs come back. I would say right now our computer science and our IT programs are some of our more popular programs. Because especially in our region in the Capital District in New York, we have so many jobs available and not enough people certified to be in those jobs. So we have students and those are career ready programs. So students that are completing their IT programs here at SUNY Adirondack and then jumping right into the workforce in the capital region, which we found to kind of really boost the enrollment in those programs. And we recently put mechatronics into our curriculum, which is really nice. So it's like robotics and mechanical engineering and kind of a bunch of things all meshed into one, which we found has been super popular.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was muted for a second. So I have a second question too.
Yeah.
So I know normally, let me ask Stephanie's question first. For acceptance requirements, how important is the SAT and or the ACT scores?
That is a great question. So SUNY Adirondack is a community college, meaning that we have open enrollment. So SAT and ACT scores are not required for our institution specifically. They will be for other institutions. But at SUNY Adirondack, SAT and ACT scores only do one thing, and that is to waive students from placement testing. So this might be kind of a helpful tip. Typically, when you go to a college, you have to complete placement testing and things like English and math. That's not necessarily an admission requirement. It's more of just allowing academic advisors like myself or like us in student success to place students in the right level English and math courses. So SAT and ACT scores only waive that for us here at SUNY Adirondack. But for a lot of other schools, maybe four-year schools within the SUNY system that don't have open enrollment, SAT and ACT scores might be considered. So, and I can speak from personal experience, I was a great student. I didn't do well on my SAT or ACT. So going to SUNY Adirondack was a helpful way, and attending a community college was a really useful way, not only to save money and get those general education requirements out of the way, but once you complete, your first year or first 2 years at college, your SAT and your ACT scores are no longer important because they're really only used as predictive tools or predictive measure to how you're going to do in college. So yeah, I guess that's what I can say on that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So my next question is so I know that not all community colleges, they don't normally always have campuses that you can live on.
Right.
So what percentage of students do you think, I don't know if you know this question right off the top of your head, but about what percentage of students do you think live on campus?
So a small percentage, like I said, we have about 3,300 students total between part-time and full-time. And like I said, we have fully online degree programs. So we do have students who take advantage of that. And we have our residence hall small. So only 400 students live on campus at any given time is our max. Okay, so most of our students are going to be commuters. And I assume that we'll get more commuters as our Saratoga campus shifts into being an entire branch campus, because then students can kind of complete full degree programs. And I think that will help for students who are kind of outside of our service area, being, our 3 surrounding counties.
Thank you.
You got it.
So if there's no other questions, I have one more that I'm going to finish with.
You
So
got it.
I was actually fortunate enough to bring a group of students from my school over here at Beekman last school year. So back in, I believe it was like around March or so, to your campus. It was a lovely campus. But they were telling us about that SUNY Plattsburgh, how they have a branch campus there. Is it a large percentage of students that take advantage of that, or how exactly does that work?
So that's a great question. So SUNY Plattsburgh branch campus has 2 in-person degrees with another one coming in fall of 23. So right now our SUNY Plattsburgh branch campus offers criminal justice, psychology, and in fall of 23 we'll start offering computer science, which is great because that's one of our more popular programs right now. And how that works is it is a true branch campus. So students do have to apply through SUNY Plattsburgh. They have to do all their paperwork and pay SUNY Plattsburgh tuition rates, but they don't have to leave basically their area. They can stay in this SUNY Adirondack Residence Hall. They still get all the amenities and student support services through SUNY Adirondack, just taking classes through that one building at SUNY Plattsburgh. In my case, I had a very small amount of professors. So during my entire junior and senior year, attending a branch campus and a smaller campus, I had very small class sizes. I think the most students I had in a class was 17. And I only had 3 professors my entire last 2 years of college, which was super awesome because I was able to get a really hands-on experience. So I was able to do my final semester, my senior year of college, I only did internships. I had 0 in-person classes. It was strictly hands-on learning. And my internships were not only through my professors, but I did a lot of internships at SUNY Adirondack, to where I was hired on full-time as a professional staff member at SUNY Adirondack about 2 weeks after I completed the program at SUNY Plattsburgh. So I would say that's what's nice about community colleges or small institutions in general, are those small class sizes, that kind of one-on-one personal touch that you might not get at a big 4-year institution. Because, you know, people that you go to school, you want them to care about you. You don't want to be a number. And I think that's why I'll always be like a big proponent for community colleges and branch campuses and things like that, because it just, you know, has that individualized touch to it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You got it.
I think we're out of time, but I just want to thank you. This was great, awesome, a lot
you
of
got
great
it.
information on
Of
it. So
course.
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And I want to remind everyone out there that this is recorded and this has access that you can come back and watch it at any time in the future. And thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.